Classic short stories for children. The best collection of fairy tales, Aesop's fables, and bedtime stories for kids. Have a relaxing night's sleep with beautiful dreams. Written by Kids Club, Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm, Hans Christian Andersen, Beatrix Potter, Andrew Lang, Charles Dickens, Abbie Phillips Walker, Joseph Jacobs, Aesop. Narrated by Kids Club. Fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us that dragons exist, but because they tell us that dragons can be beaten. Walt Disney. Introduction. The book you're about to read summarizes the experience we have gained in working with toddlers, preschool, and elementary school-aged children, and also draws on an experiment conducted with adults about using fantastic or analogical languages to understand one's inner journey, to convey emotions, and to develop one's creativity. In this volume, we have looked at the fables as an expressive language that helps children grow and improve their ability to talk about their own inner experiences. From a purely technical point of view, you will find in it material based on the tradition of the fairy tale, with its imaginary worlds, its multiple events and characters in which magic, conflict, wonder, and passion merge. The less discriminatory use of the term fable or fairy tale is more akin to lexical vulgarization through the word vulgarization, is intended not so much to take on a derogative tone as to acknowledge that fable and fairy tale are equivalent in common usage today. Since our work is aimed at an audience of parents and children, it seemed right to retain this ambiguity and to use either term to refer to any fantastic tale. It is precisely this definition that we are happy to embrace and respect, because it is precisely the imaginary, the fantastic, that is a key element we will use to listen to children's inner world and teach them to tell about themselves. The reader who picks up this book must be prepared to rediscover fragments of his own childhood, perhaps a little dormant, but always ready to be revived by the attention given to the language of the imagination. By reading old but still current stories, he can above all shake himself, reliving events and adventures that can still thrill. The parents who want to use a tool of storytelling must first reconstruct this connection with their own childhood. Over the years, I have led several training groups where working with fairy tales has been of great benefit to parents and children. Through storytelling, intense emotions emerged, old and new experiences that were very involving, new awareness, reflections on one's own way of being, and one's own style of relating. The fairy tale can especially make adults who come close to them grow up. I recommend you to fully enjoy the fairy tale literature that we have. The work of Kids Club is fundamental, which gathers a collection of short stories, like those of Aesop, typical of the fairy tale, but also the classic collections of Perrault and the Brothers Grimm. Rereading fairy tales in adulthood is a literary experience of great importance that can lead us to discover the inner wisdom of messages that we internalized more immediately and spontaneously in childhood. The first important effect of reading fairy tales is the fact that we spend time with children using their channel of communication, imagination, as well as the fact that we dedicate time to them. So use a fairy tale first and foremost to be with the child or children. Allow yourself a slow and long time to read, or listen if you are listening to an audiobook, without haste. A time to observe yourself and the baby. It will be a time of human growth from which you, both adult and child, you will emerge more capable of observing, understanding, and acting on yourself and the outside world. With this wish, I give you these pages and reflections on the valuable work that can be done with the instrument of the fairy tale. In this collection of bedtime stories, your child will meet different friends in fun and different adventures. Your child will listen until they embark on a magical journey to a peaceful and natural sleep. Each story has a moral, and your child will
Sample complete. Ready to continue?